And welcome. We've got the fabulous Jo Collins with us today. Hello, Jo.
Hiya, John. Hiya.
So many of you may not know who Jo is. So Jo, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Right, hello there. Yeah, I'm Jo Collins. I've lived in Tring for 40 years thereabouts, and I enjoy sewing, and I've always sewn really from a young girl. I used to make dresses and things, and got sisters, so we used to do sewing together. And basically, I've having met John actually, I think it was 3 years ago now, 2 to 3 years ago. I got more into quilting. But I had started quilting perhaps about 15 years ago, when round about the time my mum died actually. I got friendly with a neighbour down the road who got me involved in quilting and WI and all that jazz. So I've continued my association with older ladies for quite a while. Oh,
And
dear.
that's opened my association with older ladies as well. Now, what many people might know and might not know is Jo, along with Sylvia and Kim, work with me at the Beginners Quilt Emporium. And I just want to take a moment and thank Jo for all the love and the care that she has given, because working with me is not easy. I'm a difficult human being sometimes. Jo is nodding her head because you only get the audio. Come on, Jo, nod your head.
Sorry.
But we have got a very, very, very small team. But my word, what these ladies do, they are exceptional and incredible, and they are the heartbeat of my business. And there is no way I could do this without them. So, Jo, I know I've driven you to drink. She started drinking sherry now on a regular basis. That's probably a sherry in her glass right
You never
now.
know. You just never know.
You never know. Well, thank you so much for all that you've done.
Cheers. Well, I'm really, really
And I
enjoying
might be having a cheeky little gin and tonic because the lady Josephine is here.
it. Oh dear.
But honestly, thank you so much for everything that you've done. You've been incredible.
Oh,
And for
thank
crying out loud, you've helped win awards, and it's
oh,
extraordinary. And I cannot thank you all enough. It was
oh.
amazing.
Well, that humbles me tremendously, because I just love doing what I do. I love. I'm so grateful that you saw something in me to give me a chance to work with you, and I've made some lovely, lovely friends. Honestly, you're a true friend. So
And you've packed about 6 trillion packages as well. We're very, very lucky to have you.
thank you.
Even if I have driven her to drink. And the drink story is a good chuckle for all of us.
It's a good
Because
thing. Oh dear.
so Jo, I think on average would drink maybe a thimbleful of sherry every 4 years. Jo now has a bottle of sherry in the office, in my house, in her house, and we've got a spare one in the car, just for good measure.
And I have about 2 sips. I say, Paul, you want to finish that for me? Just
Those 2 sips is just enough.
just
So I'm
enough.
very proud to have been able to employ you and driven you to drink.
Absolutely. One week I seem to remember every night I went home, I'll have a drink, I'll have a sherry. Paul said, you sure? Yes, I am.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, I tell you, I slept well. Woke up with a headache, but there you are.
Right, so let's start off by asking you, what are you working on at the minute?
Right, what I'm doing at the moment is, I've got lots of things, but what I'm trying to do at the moment is using the hexagon trim tool, which I have. I'm trying to do these lovely hexagons using this. I can't remember the name of the fabric. Uh, can't
I
remember.
can't remember the name of that one either, but it's a beautiful,
Riley
beautiful.
Blake.
That's
Riley
it,
Blake.
Riley Blake. That's it.
And so I'm doing lots of hexagons, and actually my lovely friend Sylvia bought me this fabric for my birthday last year. So I've got that is an incentive for me. So I'm doing that, which will be possibly a cushion or a couple of cushions, and then a quilt with the others, because there's a lot of fabric there. So that's my thoughts on that one. So that's the current project, which I really want to try to get done. And with your encouragement, because with this new, what we're doing on a Thursday, aren't we? We're doing UFOs, or certainly we did last night, and that will it does encourage you with other people there. It makes you think, oh, I'll get on with this, get on with this, and then it makes you feel like you're getting somewhere.
But I think as well, it's that accountability because you've told somebody one week that you're working on it. And if you
Yes,
haven't finished it by the following week or made any progress, you kind of feel, oh, I must.
that's actually true. The accountability is the word I was looking for, I think. So yeah, it helps a great deal.
And what else
Yeah,
have you got going on? Because if I remember correctly, you told me you had 2 UFOs, and I think you then started counting again,
I
didn't
think
you,
it
Jo?
had another number to that. It's about 20, I think.
But you did start off by saying 2, didn't you?
I think I did. I think I did. And I got a little book here, and I started a little list of things, and I've got probably about 20 written down. Lots of
Wow, I didn't know about the book. That's
yeah,
gorgeous. That's a beautiful book. Let's see.
I love it. Yeah, it's magnetic fold thing. I used it as a diary to start with, but it's now it's my UFO book.
Well, I was going to say your diary at the moment is kitchen, dining room, kitchen, dining room, living room. So now we can use it for something else.
It is. So I've got lots of things I'm doing. Log cabin miniature, um, orange peel. I started doing that a couple of years ago. I think orange peel, which is the oval thing. Pansies. I made up my own little pansy pattern from looking at something on
That is
Pinterest.
stunning. Your little pansy quilt is beautiful.
Yes.
Have you got that to hand? Of course,
No.
I'm now asking for something you don't, which is behind the cupboard. I did that with Sylvia as well. Don't worry.
Sorry.
But talking
Typical.
about the little sweeties behind you, don't need to get it, but those are
Yeah.
gorgeous.
That is from Missouri Star Quilt Company. I got the idea from them on the television, so I went to their site and watched Joni Doan make it, and so I took the measurements, and then I basically got carried away and made loads and loads. And I thought, yes, I can put these together now, and so I love that. And then the back of it, if I can just show you,
Of course.
if I think it'll still stay there. So I've done. I don't know if you can see that.
We can, yes.
So it's a strip down the back of 5 of these, 2 smaller ones, oops, and 3 big ones. So I love it. It's for me. I'm not giving it to anybody particularly. I just made it for me.
Well, it's so beautiful. You need to enjoy it and love it.
And you quilted it for me, which actually that makes a quilt. You know, the quilting. When you do all that quilting on top of it, it actually brings it all together nicely, and it looks finished and professional. Actually, I'm really proud of that one.
It's a beautiful quilt.
Thank you.
And good old Jenny Doan inspiring us so
I
much.
know. She's amazing. And I met her. I met her 2 years ago. I was a bit dumbfounded.
It's quilting royalty. She's
I know.
amazing and such a lovely lady.
Yeah, and she's so tall, isn't she? I didn't realise how tall she was until I met her.
Very tall. Not that you're short,
No,
I don't want to say anything like that, you know.
no,
Can you see why I drove her to drink?
no. Oh dear.
So tell me, are you a member of any quilting groups?
I'm only a member of your quilting group, beginners quilt group. But apart from that, no, I'm not.
I
No.
thought you did sewing with the WI.
We not as a quilt, not as a group. No, I do sewing. I have done sewing with like 4 of them, if you like. We used to have a shop in Wheathampstead, or there is still the head office in Wheathampstead, and they had the front part of the building was commercial, so you could take your goods along as a person from an individual. Really, anyone off the street initially could do it, but then it had to be a WI person go along, and you could sell your items, and they would keep 20% or 25%, I think it is, of the purchase price. So you'd get a little bit of money back for what you'd made.
That's
And
wonderful because they
um,
do. It costs a lot. People don't
mm,
really understand how much crafting costs.
no, and of course every Christmas the WI would have their bazaar as well. So I became the sort of leader of the craft group, and together with a couple of other ladies, we worked very hard, and yeah.
Well,
But
if I've seen you how hard you work in my shop, I know how hard you work for them.
oh dear.
Now, do you prefer to machine quilt or to quilt by machine or hand, or how do you prefer to sew?
I prefer machine quilting because I feel it's quicker. But then I was listening to somebody last night, and I was thinking she's got a point, because she likes hand quilting. This other lady we were talking to last night, and you can do it on your own pace, and you're not likely to go wrong really, because you're in charge of it. Whereas in the machine, just do that quickly, just do that quickly. Then you've got to spend half an hour unpicking it because you've sewn the wrong bit together. So, but in general, to save my poor fingers, I prefer machine stitching.
I don't know what you mean, Jo. No, I've never made an error where we have to unpick at all. No, no one has.
Oh dear, I've got 3 unpickers now, on purpose, because where did I put it? So I've got one downstairs, one here, all over the place.
I'm a firm believer, if you haven't got the unpicker literally in your hand, you're going to need it. So just stick one around your neck.
Actually, that's a good plan. I will.
So what are you working on at the moment? I know you've listed your UFOs. Have you got anything to hand to show?
Yes. I've got, now what was I going to show you? I've got to mend something that I did years ago. This is the first thing I did about 15 years ago. It's all by hand. So what we've got here is,
Jo, you need to keep talking while you're holding it up. That is beautiful.
yeah, and it's like a single bed size really, and it's Japanese folded patchwork. And it's something that my friend along the road taught me.
Do you mind showing it closer to the camera as well? Because we've seen it far away. Oh, that is beautiful. Talk while you go.
Right, so you've got all different colours. I tended to stick to yellow if I could, yellows and greens and oranges, but I just loved the fact of how it goes together so easily, and then you end up with what looks like circles. Actually, when you put it together, you've got like a circle, but obviously there's squares going together. But when you put them together, you've got the overlap from the other square, if you like, and you end up with circles and squares. Do you see what I mean?
That's amazing. Is that quilt as you go?
It's quilt as you go. Yes, yes. So you've got the circular piece of fabric on the backing, because the backing is just plain. I've done it plain. So each one is all put together.
Oh, wow.
So you sew it on the back. So you're sewing round each square, and you can see closely when you're doing it. When you're actually sewing, you're coming
Just
through.
Lift it up a little bit.
Sorry, you're coming through the actual bit, so it looks like it's quilted on a machine, but not really, because I'm not that neat. But you've got that quilting coming through as you do. You're attaching it from the front to the back.
That's fabulous.
So that's something that I worked on, and that's really, but anyway, it's starting to come apart along the edge, so I'm having to go over that. But it is 15 years of use, so it's done very well. And I like it. I take it away when we go in our van. Sometimes I take that as one of my snuggle blankets. You know, if we're sitting there of an evening, it's warm enough really, but sometimes you get a little bit of a chill around your knees.
You just want to snuggle with your hubby. That's
I know. Oh,
how long have you been married?
We've been married for 42 years.
So just a phase, really.
Just a phase, yes. You know, just checking each other out. You know, shall I? Shan't I? Yeah.
Not quite sure. You'll decide on your 50th anniversary.
Yeah, whether he was worth it after all. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh, so that's one of the ones you're repairing at the minute.
I'm repairing that one. And apart from this one, I don't want to really start anything else. I've got lots I could start or carry on with, but I think I'll work on that one. I'm going to try to be focused on my UFOs for a little while. I mean,
I think it's good as well, because all of us have accumulated hundreds of them. So it's important, well, maybe not hundreds, but you've collected a lot of them. It's good to kind of get them out of the way.
Yeah.
It frees you up to do the next lot.
Well, it does. And when I look at all my fabric, I think, oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I think, oh dear, I haven't got much more room now.
Well, Jo, that does actually bring us on to a question that I've asked everybody. Now, Paul, this is Jo's husband, you can walk out the room now, cover your ears. There's nothing for you to hear here.
Yeah, he's downstairs.
No. Well, if you ever watch this back, Paul, this is the point you stop listening at now.
Right, okay.
Because I asked this question of all the people that I have on, and you can choose to answer it or not.
Mm-hmm.
How big's your stash?
Well, I was trying to work this out because I bought an amount the other day, didn't I? So it gave me an idea. Oh, okay, that's how much that looks like, right? So I was trying to work out. So I'm estimating 50-ish meters, but I think actually it's more.
Joe Collins,
Yes.
my darling, I love you dearly. Okay, I personally I can't, no,
No,
it's a lot more than that.
I know. I'm looking at it down. Yeah, I don't know. 100. I don't. An awful lot. Put it that way. My husband would say too much, but there you are.
Well, you've got enough for the rest of this year with one
Absolutely.
fabric per project.
Yes.
You
No.
have to have a caveat. You need to be able to buy something for each project, whether
Yes.
that be the backing, all the kit,
Yes.
the entire kit, and you've got the backing, you can do something.
Absolutely. So there you are.
No, you do belong to different groups of things. Oh, you do belong to our group, etc. What do you get out of sewing in a group?
I think I get the sort of camaraderie, the sort of the like-minded people understand what we do. We all understand why we do it. We probably all do it for different reasons, but I think relaxation's one of them. But the chatty enjoyment of someone else enjoying what you're doing, and also the mixture of people's ideas, and you learn a lot from other people. You learn, oh, that's a better way of doing it, or that's a nice pattern. I didn't never thought of doing it that way. So you're learning from other people. I think I enjoy that, and the fact of just the company actually, especially at the moment, the way things are.
It is very hard. It really is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think as well, not being able to meet people as well. It's quite tough.
yeah. I used to love meeting on a Thursday in the iron rooms. That was really really fun. And so zooming, actually we're meeting even more people
We
on
are.
Zoom, actually, aren't we?
But
So
also it opens up because geography sometimes is a problem for people.
yeah,
We've got people from Canada, we've got people from Northumberland, we've got
yeah,
people from Yorkshire, all the
yeah.
way down in Kent, in Herne Bay, we've got them in Norfolk. They're all over. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. It really is. So I just enjoy the company. I think that's the majority of what I love about it. Really. Yeah.
So you don't really buy all your fabric based on a designer, do you?
No, I don't. I buy it if I like the fabric. I like the pattern. I like yeah. I don't go for a designer necessarily at all.
Do you have a favorite designer?
Um, I don't really know many designers. I think right having got this Riley Blake, I rather like this what I've got of the Riley Blake. So I probably would look more into that fabric designer maybe, but I just go with what I like the look of. So it's not anyone particular.
Well, you're making the quilt for you, so you might as well.
Exactly. So colours are important, and um, yeah, I'm not a snob where it comes to a particular designer.
Strong word. We'll leave that
Mm,
there.
okay, okay.
Now tell me, do you have what was the best advice you ever got as a quilter?
Best advice. I suppose. Let's have a think. Hmm. Just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy what your work, and I
It's
think that
good advice though, because the thing is,
yeah,
I think a lot of us get hung up on making sure that everything's accurate and points of this and
yeah,
points of that, and
yeah.
just enjoying what you do. It's not
Mm,
about accuracy; it's about
no,
enjoying it. It's really
because
good
I think
advice.
yeah, I think these days we are too critical. Well, I say these days. I think we're generally as sewers too critical of our own thing. So if we've made something, then we say you might. I've said it before. Well, don't look there because that bit went a bit wrong. You mustn't do that. You just give it to someone, and they should be thankful and grateful and ooh ah over it. You hope, but they don't always.
They don't. They don't. And if they do point it out, Joe, do you backhand them?
I haven't got to that bit yet. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I'd just go,
I love doing this to Joe because Joe would not hurt a fly. And I make fun of her saying, "Oh, one day you're going to backhand me. And she's like, it'll come. It'll come when you least expect it."
like that. I didn't touch it. Oh dear.
Oh, you're fabulous.
Uh,
Have you got a message for people who are new quilters?
right, I've just write something down. Bear with. Bear
Oh,
with. Bear with.
that means you've prepared. I'm
I
going to
think.
have a little bit of my gin and tonic. It's not
Oh,
gin.
okay. I think basically, just to say that you're not. We're not perfect. Nothing. If it's something handmade, that's the end of it really, because it's handmade, and it's not going to be absolutely like if you wanted something perfect, you might, well, I don't know, something machine made, I suppose we go for. But if it's handmade, it's a lot of love's gone into it. So I think that's the way to look at it. Don't expect it to be perfect. And just a little something was years ago. I got into making started making quillos. You know, a quilt that folds into a pillow. And my daughter-in-law asked me if I would make one for her best friend's wedding. And so it was a lovely project. We did it together, and she gave me the ideas of the pictures because it had like I think 12 or 15 pictures on it. Each square was something significant to the couple. And anyway, when I'd finished it, I gave it to Nicola to give to Sarah, and I started pointing out my mistakes. She said, "Joe, it's perfect. It's handmade," and that was her answer. It's just right, and it's handmade. So I think that's the way to look at it. Just don't be critical of yourself. That's what I'd say to new quilters, new people. Just try different things, see how you go, and just try different things. You don't know until you try how much you're going to enjoy or perhaps not like so much a way of doing something.
But that's really good advice because it's all about trial and error. What a
Yeah,
wonderful message. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
and
what's
art,
your
art
biggest,
is in the high. Sorry,
sorry, no, go.
art is in the eye of the beholder, because I think what we're doing is a form of art because we're using our own palette, aren't we, with the fabric, and you make something and you can see that pattern coming alive. And I think it's like it's an artistic thing, isn't it?
That's very true. And it is art. That's
Mm,
exactly what it is.
mm.
What's your biggest regret on your quilting journey?
Oh, my biggest regret, I really believe this is, first of all, I didn't go to university or college to learn about fabrics and to go into that side of things when I was young enough to feed my mind with it all and know a bit more now. I wish I'd done more in my early years. And when I was at school, I did needlework and art as well as English and maths and languages. I failed needlework and I failed art in my O level, and that should have put me off, shouldn't it? But I carried on. I thought, I don't care. I'm still gonna make this. I'm still gonna make this, as in clothes. That was at the time. But so my biggest regret is not going more into the clothes side of things and the textile side. But
Because you make a lot of your own clothes as well, and they're
I,
gorgeous.
I used to, and
When
recently,
did
last year,
you made them last couple of months ago.
I did. Last year, I made a dress, and the year before, I made a dress actually. But I just feel that I should have. Well, things happen in your lives, and you can't always do what you want to do. But looking back, I think that was one of the biggest regrets. I didn't do this sort of thing much earlier in my life because I love it, and it's been such a release and a relief to do things. To yeah, it.
But it's that artistic expression. It's what's inside you.
Yeah.
You're able to get out in a way
Mm,
that you maybe can't articulate, but when you do it, you can actually express it and
yes.
get it out that way.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you're very good at what you do. You just got to look at the quilt over your shoulder and see your eye of color is
Yeah.
gorgeous. And
Oh,
I've been lucky enough to see all the works that you've made
I
of late,
know.
and you're very talented.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, I've just, well, with your experience, with your help as well, because that's the other thing. The other thing I regret, not knowing you earlier, and not meeting you earlier, because again, life takes funny turns, doesn't it? And you know, obviously, it was the right time when I met you because of Adam living next door to you. That's how we sort of, it's the combination of things brought us together. I reckon 3 years ago. So that's one of my other regrets, not knowing you earlier.
One of the happiest things in my life is the fact that you did come into my life and the fact that you have
Wow.
brought great joy to us and you bring so much joy to so many people.
Ah,
And I don't think you ever see just how much of a treasure you are.
Oh, oh, thank you.
No, it's true. It really is. You're an incredible person.
Thank
And if
you.
nothing else, you've just got to look at your boys to see what an amazing mum you are and what an amazing
Oh,
person you are.
thank
And passing that down generation to generation is something you should be incredibly proud of.
you.
And yeah,
Oh,
you may very well have become a fashion designer and all that, but you were an
yeah.
amazing mum and you've got an
Yeah.
amazing family that adore you. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of merit in that. And there are many people who don't have that.
No, that's true. That is very true. I am very lucky and very grateful for all that.
But it's all right. We'll still get you into design school next year. Now that I know you want it, we're enrolling you in September, but you come to work 2 days a week. End of discussion.
Oh dear, keep you busy.
Oh, brilliant. So what's next? What are you working on next?
What's next? More
I know
quite.
you've got your UFO, but I mean
Yes,
after that, what's your
yes.
next project?
I'm thinking of. I want to go into clothing. I do want to try more in clothing, and I have got patterns and I've got fabric which I've recently bought to do these patterns.
I
So
don't know what you're talking about. Where did
no,
you get this fabric? I don't
okay.
know what you're talking
But I'd like to make myself some things, and um, because sometimes you make something for somebody else, unless they've asked you to do something or other, you don't know if it's particularly acceptable or they really want it. So I'd rather have the satisfaction of making myself something, and yeah, and going into the clothes side of things. That's my next step, I think.
Well, having seen some of the fabrics you bought, you're going to be the best dressed lady in Tring. So I cannot thank you enough, not only for your time, your friendship, your energy at work, everything. You are an amazing human. Thank
Oh,
you for
well,
being
so are
part of
you.
my tiny little quilting journey.
Well, thank you very much to you too, because honestly, you make me so happy because we just tend to we just keep sort of hit it off well, don't we? Really,
Well,
and
you've never laughed so much.
I know I've always been a bit of a laugher, but I must admit I have never laughed so much in the last 3 years. Seriously, I haven't.
I've corrupted Jo. She started drinking. She's off to fashion school in the summer. I love it. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you very much. Thank
Look
you.
after yourself, and I look forward to seeing the next steps in your journey.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Take care.